Seen some light at the end of the tunnel this week. Prospects did a couple things, but still 0-3 is not what you want to see, Josh.
Definitely not.
All right, 0-3 on the week. It wasn't a good week for the Red Wings. Red Wings fans, really, no one invested in this at all.
No, on paper, it was terrible. You asked yourself, could it get any worse? And no, on paper, but definitely some blotches of sunlight there through the tunnel, I would say.
Yeah, you watch the games. We did all right, started okay, and then everything just kind of fell apart. Somewhere in all three games, it fell apart completely.
In all three aspects, offense, defense, and goalie, for that matter.
Special teams.
Right.
So yeah, we started basically the week Sunday while we were recording this last week. Game was going on, and I think the first two periods of that Chicago game, really, we were doing okay.
Well, it's a good Chicago team. I thought were doing okay, really well. I mean, they're going to score. I expected them to score, but I mean, 2-1. I think that's a pretty good position to be in.
Yeah, that's not a bad position. And then you get into the third, and the defense kind of falls apart. Grice completely falls apart.
Implodes, the definition of implode, I believe.
Yeah, I think he ended that game 781 save percentage. You got to get better than that from your goalie.
Agreed. He's
The
got to
only
give you a chance.
Yeah, the only really good thing I took out of that Chicago game, Svech followed up his previous game where he scored a goal and had one assist, follows it up again with another goal.
Right.
Which you kind of want to see how the prospects. You want to see him doing something. So
even the old guy was doing some good too. Gagne with a goal. He's starting. I mean, for the hat trick, and then coming into this week have a goal. I mean, I think when they brought him in, I believe it was just more of a culture change and I mean, obviously for the picks, right? Somebody will pick him up to
yeah, maybe I
run
don't
through.
know.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure you're gonna get a lot out of Gagne, but you might maybe get a late round pick. I think he was kind of just a holdover from last season.
Right.
He's a guy with experience, and he can transfer into center if you need him to. He's got a right-handed shot, add some depth. But yeah, I don't think he's really expected to bring a whole lot.
I think he's overachieved for us for sure
Okay.
this year.
And then, back at home on was it Tuesday
Tuesday, yeah.
Tuesday we play Columbus. And, we actually this wasn't a third period, destruction fall apart. It was just second period.
Well, Columbus just kind of poured it on. I think it was the power play they took over on.
Yeah,
And
that was a team that I think they'd come out of a long losing streak, and they needed it, and we were kind of easy pickings for that.
well, I knew Torts was going to have a fire lit under the rear end because one, I think he's a little bit on the hot seat there. He doesn't give superstar treatment over there, and I mean, Columbus isn't a place you want to play to begin with. I guess being that it's in the Midwest. I mean, there could be way worse places like Detroit, but my big thing on that one was Mantha, and then the Bernier Grice saga continues again. Bernier comes in 852 save percentage, and then Grice comes in and kind of holds us over with 1,000. I mean, doesn't let anything in.
Yeah, he doesn't let anything in, but the damage kind of already been done.
Exactly.
That was another game where, instead of trying to really open it up because we're behind, we just kept trying to plot along defense. You see more stretch passes and more, real defensive shell play, and you're
Right.
already down, and you just got to wonder, why are we doing this? You're not going to get ahead. You're already going to lose, right?
Well, they play boring hockey to begin with. I think they play a lot of neutral zone trap when they get up, kind of like Tampa does, kind of like how Carolina. It's boring hockey, but it works. So, I mean, as soon as they get up, and I mean they have the firepower to get up, and plus they have the firepower. I guess Seth Jones on the blue line. I don't know if he's hurt or not. I haven't heard his name called a lot, but they shut it down pretty good after that.
Yeah,
Granted,
they
we
did.
can't score.
But it's just sad that we don't have that extra gear. We really have nothing in a bag of tricks at all. When we get in that situation, we just try to.
No.
I don't know. I guess I always feel like we end up trying to lose by less and not trying to win.
Yeah, it's a play. It's like it's like they're trying to keep the avalanche from stopping. Like it's not
Yeah.
okay. Let's just kind of corral what we got here. If we lose by one, we're good. It's never straight attack mode after that.
Right until like the last 2-3 minutes, and then it's
over.
Yeah,
it's
throw
over
everything at it and just hope and pray.
Right.
But so then at Carolina, this was another third period loss.
I think this is where our bright spots kind of showed a little bit. It was terrible the first two games, but then you see guys like Zadina finding rhythm. Svech again with an assist, so I puts him at 4 at 4.
Yep, 4 points in 4 games. He
Mm-hmm.
had 3 points in 3 games before that.
Right.
Didn't know if he was going to start though because
God.
we've got just a superstar lineup that is scoring too
As
much.
you can see on this desk, it's big enough to support a dead horse, and I feel like every single day we come in here, it feels like that's what we're doing. It's just beating the hell out of it, because I mean it. I don't know. I'm not going to get too much into it, but just
Josh doesn't agree with the coaching.
didn't know if Svech was going to play with his brother. I mean, what do we got to do? What are we trying to? Are we trying to make the playoffs? I mean, are we really trying to make the playoffs at this point?
I think Blash just thinks we got a shot. You know,
I
we win
guess.
enough 0-0 games that we'll make it.
Gosh, I guess that's what the mindset they have to have. Blash and Bilesman, all them guys. I don't know how into the game Iserman is, but it's just let the kid play against his brother. He played well. He's been playing well, and it's good for their confidence. Like these kids need Zadina needs confidence, and you're finally starting to see it. Mantha's getting a bit of a groove going, but you know what the hell do we know, right?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of
Mind games. It feels like.
mind games or what kind of dues they think these kids need to pay before they can get in. But there's no one in this lineup in the bottom 6 that's really performing. I mean, they play good games. I mean, Phil has a good game here and there. Ernie has a good game here
Yeah,
and there. That fourth line plays pretty good. Glenn Denning, plays to the best of his ability and effort most nights. But when you're talking about a kid who was a first round pick who scored 3 points in 3 games leading up to this, and you go into a press conference and you basically say, "Hey, yeah, I don't know if he's going to be able to play because, what do you need out of the kid?"
well, Blashill said it's up to this guy. It's up to him whether or not he wants to play or not. He can't stay healthy. He said that, and or it's been a problem. But he said it was up to him. And I mean the body, the work is in the body here. I mean, however you want to put it. I mean, it's there. Like it's there. So I mean, it bothers me that I feel like he kind of has a leash on all of these kids, and it's so small. Like I get it. Like we're trying to win. We're trying to win. But at this point, the all of these conferences are stacked. These divisions are stacked. There is no way we make the playoffs unless something miraculous happens. So I think you just let the kid play. Let the kids play. Let the kids play.
Yeah, I think there's, I mean, maybe not every game, and maybe you sit them here and there and kind of teach them something and watch. But yeah, I mean, especially a guy like Svechnikov, who he will have to pass through waivers if he's kept up. Or I'm sorry, if he's sent down after a certain amount of time, I believe it's 30 days. So end of the month, he'll either have to be sent down permanently or um,
They send
basically
him
play.
down. If
I
they
think I
send
think
him
if he goes
down,
through waivers again, he doesn't make it.
I feel like Detroit fans will riot if they send him down and he gets picked up. Say Carolina says, "Oh, we'll bring them both over."
Yeah, they can
I'll
play.
I'll go in meltdown mode for sure.
We'll have a rant video if that
Oh
happens.
my gosh, and I will not be sober during that video either.
But all right, so we're gonna, two of these games were, I mean, just late game, third period meltdowns.
Yeah,
And there's really, I don't know if there's a reason for it. I think that we try to play defense so much that eventually when you're hemmed in your zone, especially against guys like Patrick Kane and
hmm
DeBrincat and all those kind of, really good players, that when you're not actively trying to take the puck down the ice, it's all stretch passes or low percentage plays across the ice to try to, spark a one-off goal chance, and you're not setting up and you're not, putting in the effort to set up and maintain the, the offensive zone that
you're not wearing down their defense, which is what. Here's the thing: we've got skill on that first line, especially with Mantha and Zadina, and we've shown it in those 2 goals that Zadina had. There was a play with Zadina against Carolina, and the guy just threw it up the side of the boards, and there we had 2 4-checkers in, and Zadina was kind of hanging high. And I don't know if it was late on the shift or not, but we manufactured something out of it, and that's what we're missing here in the offensive zone. I don't know who the hell runs the power play, or not the power play, but the offensive side of that. But if they would just keep that in there, just I don't know, a little bit more aggression. I mean, I think you produce a little bit more.
well,
I
it seems like a lot of our, process is to force things, and it's very, I guess, I'm trying to think of the word, it's directed. It's when you get to here on the wall, the pass is going across the ice. It doesn't matter, if there's a defender there. It doesn't. This is the play you're trying to make.
Absolutely.
There's no room for creativity, and a lot of times we don't carry the puck. We dump the puck constantly. Our forecheck is not that great, And yeah, and when you're turning the puck over as much as we do, you know, it's just going to constantly evolve into maybe not more shots against because I mean, from a shot perspective, we're not really getting for the week. We weren't outshot too badly, but
I felt like we got a lot of shots on net this week. It's just,
yeah,
you
but
know,
just the chances
the
that those,
type of
yeah, the
shots.
type of
Yeah,
shot and the chances that are generated from those shots aren't great. They're just looking at the goalie. You're one guy in, you take a shot. You don't slow down, set up. We don't look for the trailer, which is something that's been killing us this week. It seems
Zadina
like,
scored his 2 goals on trailer. He circled back out,
yep,
came back in, and
yeah, on
had two
both,
pretty goals.
yeah, on both the power play goal and the even
Yeah.
strength goal, he was, right side of the slot,
Hmm.
about right at the dot, almost right inside, and
Right.
he put it in. One was actually far side, one was near side. They were both really nice. But yeah, I mean, it just seems like we wear ourselves out playing so much defense that by the end of the game, we don't have enough in the tank to constantly chase around the puck, and we just get tore up for it.
I'd be interested to see the time on ice for some of those lines. I mean, uh, if we're that tired, what does our conditioning look like? I mean, this is a sprint. I get it, but at the same time, we had 3 games last week, and we're gonna have 3 this week. We should be pretty fresh.
Yeah, we have 4 days off right now. We're in a 4-day break, which is
Yeah.
weird in this COVID schedule that we have that much time off.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, but again, like so we lost late, but one of the actual good points on the week was the power play.
Finally, 4 for 4 in the last 4 games, I guess, or not
Y-
4 for 4,
Yeah,
4 goals in the last 4 games.
right.
What was I thinking? But yeah, I think I said it last week. I think the difference for me is Mantha. I mean, I think if you run, they're starting to run it through him. And last week on the last video I did, I mentioned the 4-on-4 where he came in, skated it over, nobody messed with him. It was against Nashville, and he just manufactured something. And I saw a lot of that happening on this power play. And I think the more you trust him with it, like instead of having this attitude that I'm going to prove a point to him, like Blash has been trying to do for the last couple of years, and just give him time, let him have the puck, and just filter everything through him and watch his confidence skyrocket. You saw it; he played with a little bit more pizzazz, and that's the only way he plays well is when he's irritated or he's in the game. When he's engaged, he's hard to stop.
Yeah, he does seem to play better when he has the puck more. Um, but again, that's when these guys are actually in the offensive zone and have that time.
Right?
You'll see things, and when he can do that, yeah, he's on. It looks good.
Yeah.
The other thing on the power play, there's a little bit difference in personnel with Larkin being out,
Sure.
which has helped. Because
Sadly.
Larkin's really never been a significant presence on the power play. Um, I don't know if it's because he has a little bit more selfish play or he's just not a great facilitator, but he's never done a whole lot in his career so far on the power play. And with him out and them not forcing him out there as the number one center, and all these things, we're starting to get a little more traction with that.
Right.
And it might have taken a few games to kind of get away from him, being there and then, looking through some other options. But I kind of hope that they don't throw him back out there right away and see if we can continue on with what we're doing. But
Oh, that's interesting. I agree. I do agree. I don't know how he responds to it. That's my only drawback on that. Is it because these guys are still kind of young. I mean, they're still kids technically. I mean, they're adults, but they're kind of kids to this game. Um, so my worry is the confidence factor. What's he going to look like coming back from injury? Did he? I mean, I'm sure he had an injury. I don't know how severe it was, but I mean, maybe this time off does it for him. So I think you move him to the wing on 5-on-5 and see how he facilitates that way, and kind of give him a little bit of open roaming. Maybe throw him on there with Zadina and Fabry. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I don't think Larkin and Mantha work well together.
well, the
Uh,
thing is, Larkin so far and Zadina really haven't worked together either. I think
which is
Larkin's better with like the guys like Bert, and that's why I actually think if like you had like a Bertuzzi, Larkin, Svechnikov line,
right,
guys who can kind of battle and open the ice more for Larkin,
right.
that those are the kind of players he plays well with, and that's a line I'd really like to see. But
Yeah, he's not much of a threat right now,
no,
unfortunately.
no, they can really. He's really been able to be pushed to the perimeter, and
Not as much speed either. Not a lot of speed
yeah,
coming
you
through
you
the
don't notice it
transition.
as
Yeah,
much
you
anymore.
don't notice it as much anymore.
We touched a little bit on Zadina. He's kind of gaining his confidence. That's the next topic we're going to go to here.
Yeah,
Like we said, we had 2 goals, and they were really
they
pretty
were
goals.
goal scoring goals. I mean, the power play one, I believe Was that the one that was in his feet, or was that the 5-on-5?
The one in his feet was the power play goal.
That was a fantastic shot. That puck was on end too, and for him to dial it right there,
Yeah, he got down on it and just put it. I mean, he just lifted it right,
right
right over the glove, near side top corner, and yeah, that again, that was right, basically from the slot too, right about the dot.
in his feet too, which is fantastic. I mean, that's good to see too. And I mean, the other one was a far side where he just picked a spot and shot it.
Yeah, it was real nice. It was like just below the arm, I think,
Yeah,
and far side. Again, really nice goal. That's a guy that we really need. If we're gonna start moving forward, we're gonna see some bright spots in this. Zadina's the one that out of maybe all these kids, you want to see the most from.
confidence thing. He's young. I mean, he's second year, full year. I think second full year. Or did he come up late last year?
He came up early last year, then he
Okay.
had the injury.
Okay,
Remember,
had the
he was
injury.
out. So
So I mean, I'd ride him all the way to the end of the season. I mean, just kind of put him through the ringer when it comes to the because it is a shortened season. I just put him through the ringer with every day. I mean, we're in the dog days of the season, right? Technically, in this short season, and see how he performs. I mean, body wise, I mean, I think he could probably put on about 20 pounds of muscle, and I think he will. Um,
it's a lot to put on.
well, I mean, that shot's only going to get better with the more power he puts on.
Oh yeah,
I think.
there's
I
no
mean,
doubt.
his hands are there. I think the IQ's there because he's facilitating too. But I mean, it's just getting reps at this point. Same thing with Svetch, and Rass hopefully picks it up here in the next couple games too.
Yeah, I just don't think it's Zadina the minutes and the opportunity.
Hmm.
And yeah, just keep riding him. I mean, just put him out there. Unless his demeanor really starts, to go down, he's just not producing. But he's incredibly snake bit. I think he's shooting like 3% right now.
Yeah,
So I mean, the shots are there. I mean, he's just the puck luck. As much as you don't want to talk about it, it's just not there for the guy.
it was like that with Mesnikov at the beginning of the year. Then he finally found it, and he kind of picked up a little bit of a streak there. And obviously, he went back down a little bit.
Right. But a guy like Zadina, you think should be shooting up there, maybe 10%,
Just
close
don't
to.
keep shooting, really. I mean, just find the spot. Like I said, the 2 goals that he did score, he circled back out of the zone
Yeah.
and found, and the coverage had kind of shifted towards the puck at that point when he shifted back through and came on the opposite side right there. I mean, he was wide open.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, there was no one on him really for either goal. He found the space, which is what he needs to do.
Right, right. Just keep shooting. I think that's his prognosis. Or yeah, keep shooting. Snake bitten. Just keep shooting.
Yeah, and then just maybe try to keep the light positive here. We'll talk about for a second maybe what's going right. Zadina's one of those things that are going
Definitely.
right. Rasmussen playing in the NHL is something that's going right. I think that basically the same thing for Svechnikov, though we don't know if he's going to be in this week or not. At practice Sunday morning, he was an extra, so we'll see where that goes. Fabry has been playing very good at center.
He's been an anchor for us for sure. He's one of the hopeful ones, I think.
Yeah, I was down on Fabry. I did not have much confidence going forward that Fabry was really a piece of this rebuild, and now I think he could be if he
How old is he?
continues.
26.
I think he's like 24.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's
Okay.
about. I think he's.
Well, he had the knee surgery, right?
Yeah, he had
2.
2 knee surgeries.
Jeez.
So I mean, his
Okay.
development was behind. So maybe we were starting to see what made him a first round pick.
He was on a crowded roster too. That St. Louis roster
Well,
is
yeah,
absolutely stacked.
that's the reason he's here to begin with is because I mean St. Louis just gave us a gift basically, just handing him to us for
Take De La Rose.
De La Rose, and that was for a 1-for-1 trade. That is
That was
lopsided
the
as
most
it gets.
Kenny pickup I've ever seen in my life. Besides Cleary, De La Rose. That was good. I couldn't. You look at that trade, and you're like, it's Ken Holland right there, kind of. So, but yeah, he's been a gift for us. I really do think they're. I mean, coming from a Stanley Cup winning team like that, and then you add people like Gagne, and you add kind of like the back end. You kind of add these guys that have been on winning
We get guys like Stetcher.
culture.
Stetcher's been fantastic for
Yes.
us. Stetcher with Merrill was I'm sorry, not with Merrill, but Stetcher with Stahl was, a great pairing. Stetcher's been out since March 4th, I think.
Yeah, you guys are not going to believe this. We actually lead the league in this pairing here at Stetcher Stahl. Lowest expected goals against per 60 minutes played. Now you say, well, how much have they played, right? And I think that's what you asked me.
Yeah,
And
that's what I
it's
asked you.
minimum 200 minutes played together.
So as a pairing, even strength, they're the lowest in the NHL.
Lowest expected goals against them, and I think it's 1.55 goals against per 60 minutes, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know Stahl's another guy who, he's been going right. When we picked him up, it was kind of, well, we're getting a pick in return. It's a cap dump for the Rangers.
Right.
He's maybe a third pairing guy. Who knows what we're going to use him for, how good he's going to be. But we were happy to take the second. And really, he's been a pretty good surprise lately. The last 2-3 weeks,
Our defense in general has actually been pretty stout. I mean, if Ryan's picked up, if Mantha's up there, and if Zadina's up there, Larkin's facilitating. I mean, I think we're competing for a lower spot in the division there. But I mean, it's just there. It just seems like it's so disheveled on the offensive end and the goalie. We're not even sure on the goal. I mean, Bernier's been good, but like
yep.
these last couple games, you're
This,
looking at the
yeah, the
stats,
scary thing for me is Bernier prior to being here was never much.
right?
He had the one good year in Colorado, I think,
Yeah, and then he
maybe.
went to Toronto, where everybody's career goes to die, and then that's
Yeah,
where it kind of like
yeah, and that kind
went
of, and
off.
I mean, maybe he's regressing back to that mean now, though, and that's he played really good for us for about a year now, and if he kind of tapers off back to what his career looked like before, we might really be in trouble at goal.
I think Eichmann was a little late to the party on the goalie
I,
part of
I
off
don't.
season.
Grice played fantastic last year for the Islanders, but
Look how good that defense is, and
yeah,
that
that
in
that
that little
defense is
that
fantastic.
same little stat, there was two pairings of Islanders guys that were in there.
Yeah,
So
yeah, their defense and their whole, how they, muck up the neutral zone and play the trap,
that's
basically.
that's all.
That
What's his name?
that's
Barry Trotz. That's Barry Trotz hockey right there.
yeah, it is, and it's boring to watch, but it's effective. But yeah, going this week. This week's probably going to be. This might be another really brutal week for the
We go
Wings.
0-3. I won't be surprised.
You go 0-3 again. You know what? I'll say we beat Carolina next Sunday. I can't see us beating Tampa. We play Tampa Tuesday and Thursday, and Tampa's
The team is scary right now,
they're
and
scary good. They've always
without
had our
Cooch,
number.
without Cooch,
Yeah, we just don't play
always
good
yeah.
against them. I'll make a prediction here. I think we hear something about Jeff Blatchell and old Cooper being great friends, like we always do every time we play the
You take a
Lightning.
shot every time that's mentioned and see how far you get. Right,
You might be in trouble if you do. We don't condone that, by the way.
right.
So we got Tampa twice. We got Carolina next Sunday. Like we mentioned before, Svechnikov might be out because right now it looks like there's a chance Larkin's in for Tuesday. Um, in media availability, they talked about Larkin. He's got basically these two practices Sunday morning and Monday, and then they're going to make that determination if he plays on Tuesday against Tampa. Obviously, we want Larkin back in the lineup. Maybe they put him back on the wing. That'd be
I
interesting
hope
to put him on
so,
the wing
man.
with Fabry. Fabry's been playing really good at center.
I wouldn't mess with anything there. I mean, it's just so you don't know what the direction is at this point with the lines. I mean, you said that Svetch was an extra. I mean, I'd ride that. I mean, at this point, you're riding it as much as possible. All the good teams have no problem doing that because things are going right. But what kind of sampling are we looking for here? I don't know what he's looking for. I don't know who's doing these lines. I don't know what's going on when it comes to that. I don't know what this guy's thinking. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think we lose three out of three. I think we have the same conversation we had this week. Oh, there's light at the end of the tunnel blotches, and there is. But that being the case, it's not wins, and it doesn't look competitive. Competitive for 15, 20 minutes. That's it. And
Yeah, I mean, if we get a good 2 periods, usually we're lucky. But yeah. I mean, you're right. I think I'll be positive. I think we beat Carolina next weekend.
okay,
I think we're due for another win. I'd hate to go 0-6, in 2 weeks. But that's all I got. I don't know if you got anything else, John.
I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. If you would hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, helps us out.
Algorithm.
And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.